Hey, my friends, if we haven't met, my name is Mark Delaney. Some people call me the butler because I like to serve kind of behind the scenes in the lives of people. I like to be Alfred for Batman. This video, you could say, is sponsored by Tip Top Canine. Tip Top Canine is a great dog training company. They're friends of mine. And let me tell you a story about them. So there's a park in my city that I go play disc golf in, and all the time I find myself in this park, and there's people getting training on how to be a dog parent. And when I see this, I'll see like 8 to 10 parents lined up, dog parents, getting trained on how to parent their dog. And when I see that, I would get frustrated because I love to help parents raise their kids and help like know what you're doing as a parent. But it's really hard to find parents that are interested in getting help with parenting for some reason. And so I would find myself frustrated, like, where are the parents that want help with their kids? And so one time I was at a business conference and there was a business that kept getting promoted, and it was Tip Top Canine. And I was like, it's them, it's those people. And so I found the two people who owned this company at this business, and I walked up to them and I said, it's you guys. And they said, what? I said, you guys frustrate me. Let me tell you why. And I told them the story of the park and how I go to this park and I see people getting training on how to parent their dogs. And I like to help people know how to confidently parent their kids, but people don't seem to want that. And the guy who's now my friend, but at that moment was a stranger, he looked at me and he said, "You help with parenting?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "When can we start?" And the very next week, they were at a conference we were leading that had to do with parenting. And they've since become great friends. And he gave me this shirt recently. So I'm going to call them the sponsor for this video about parenting. I'm trying to bring a little bit of lightness to this topic because I've talked in the last few days to a number of parents struggling with all kinds of stuff with their kids. From a parent of a 6-year old, their child is having some issues, and they're just like, well, what do you do? I talked to a parent who has a child in their 20s who's having massive issues with identity and wondering what gender maybe they should be. Another parent, their adult child's going through some stuff. There's a 17-year-old who's how do you get them to obey around the house? All kinds of issues. Parenting can be overwhelming. It can feel impossible. I'm sitting here in my house right now, and the room right next door, the living room, I think about a moment where I'm looking over at one of my kids when they were a teenager, and I was thinking, did I do this? They're, where they are right now, I just felt like my own kid was at a place where they were kind of lost as a person. I didn't like the trajectory they were on. And I was like, I don't know how to help them. And I wonder if I'm the one who hurt them. I wonder if something about my parenting is why they are struggling. It was a hard moment. Here's what I learned. I'm going to give you a piece of advice, a thought about parenting that I believe in with my whole heart. It's a very counterintuitive thought about how to help your kids when they're struggling. And when I say this, you're either going to be relieved or you might be frustrated at me because you may not like what I'm about to say, but I really believe in this thought. And that is simply this: when your kids have a big mess and you don't know what to do with it, here's what you need to do first: face your own mess. Face the mess within yourself. The fears that you have, a habit that you're not willing to face, something in your life that you are hiding, an identity battle that you are wrestling with. If there's something in yourself that you've been hiding from, that you're just coping but you're not facing, that's the mess you need to face. Now, hear me on this. I'm not insinuating that the reason your child has a mess is because you've been hiding your mess. Honestly, that could be part of it, but don't take offense to that thought. It's not that you're a bad parent or a bad human. This is the reality of humanity. All parents have a dramatic impact on their kids for the positive and also sometimes for the negative. Oftentimes it's both. This doesn't make us bad people or even bad parents. It makes us human parents. The good news is, me facing my mess will equip me with understanding with how to help my kid with their mess. But if I hide the mess going on inside of me, I'll have no understanding for how to help my kids with their mess. And beyond that, let me tell you something magical that happens, something powerful that happens. When I face the junk in me, my life can then demonstrate and show an example to my own kids as to how to face the junk inside of them. You see, the problems that your kids have are not because of you. Even if their problem looks a lot like your problem, they have that same problem not because of you, but because they're human just like you. It's a human problem. So we can remove the guilt or the shame that my kid is like this because of me. Instead, we can say, because of me, my kid can be different. We can choose to lead the way and show them a different way of existing. And this is powerful. But let's face it, as human beings, we all fear our mess. It's a common reality for all of us. We fear our mess. I'm wearing this shirt that looks like a Superman emblem. The reality for all of us is we all want to represent this with our life. But what else is true is we all have kryptonite in our life. We all have elements of weakness that take away our strength. And people fear their weakness. Everyone fears their weakness until they face it. When people face their weakness, they realize, oh, yes, I have this weakness, but it doesn't take away my strength. I can honestly face this weakness in my life, but still believe in who I am as a person. But this is one of the most profound lessons for any human being to ever learn, is how do I live my best when there's something about me at its worst? And the way we overcome this is by honestly facing the worst of ourselves while still being able to believe in the best of ourselves. So this profound lesson, we as parents, we can demonstrate to our kids how we can face the stuff inside of us that we're afraid of. We can face our insecurities and fears. We can face our past. We can face the habit that we've been afraid to ever talk about. We can face it. And when we just simply face it honestly, it empowers us to live out this Superman life more boldly. And we get to demonstrate that to our kids. My friend, if you're wrestling with something with your kids that's just overwhelming, it's just overwhelming, scary. You worry about what's going to happen with your kids. There's not much you can do as a parent to you can't make them change, but with your life, maybe you can inspire them to change. You can't force your kids. You oftentimes you can't even talk to them. When they reach certain ages, you can't go to them and say, I think you should quit this habit. Well, that's doesn't not going to help anything. But what if you make changes in your life and you face things in your life? And what if your life empowers them to face stuff in their life? I want you to feel hope. I want you to know that you can do something to make a difference, but it's very counterintuitive. Instead of trying to control your child's mess, what if you face your mess?